sovereignty carries obligations. Persistent mass killings, unchecked violence, and systematic failures to ensure accountability can invite scrutiny from regional and international bodies. History has shown that when states fail to secure their people, external actors, whether through diplomatic pressure, fact-finding missions, sanctions, or peace support mechanisms, may be compelled to intervene in defense of human life. Such intervention may be political, humanitarian, or institutional, long before it becomes anything more forceful. Nigeria must therefore take every step to address insecurity decisively, transparently, and in accordance with the rule of law. Failure to do so risks not only condemning loss of innocent lives, but the possibility of external involvement in our internal affairs, an outcome that no sovereign state should desire. I commend the Human Rights Committee under the dynamic leadership of the Vice Chairman, Mrs. Chinenye Ude. Please, can we give her a round of applause? And then the committee by extension for convening this dialogue and for their relentless work throughout the year. They have been standing with victims, challenging impunity, advancing the cause of justice all throughout the year from last year. Please, a round of applause. Your commitment reflects the spirit and legacy of MB Ikeja branch. Even though mine is a welcome address, forgive my intuition when I say our message today is simple. A nation that protects its citizens strengthens its sovereignty. A nation that fails to do so weakens it. The urgency of addressing mass killings is therefore not just a human rights imperative. It is national security and sovereign imperative. To our guests, our panelists, to my lord, the guests, panelists, civil society partners, and security experts all here, and all attendees, thank you for lending your voice and your expertise and your presence to this occasion. We look forward to your insights that will not only diagnose the problem, but propose actionable, rights-respecting solutions for a safer Nigeria.
Obviously, the violence in Nigeria is something that everybody has heard about. If we have not been impacted personally, we have been impacted as citizens of the country. And for me, I think being citizens of Nigeria, we are in a social contract with the government of Nigeria. And in that contract, we are entitled to rights which are codified under the Constitution. And those rights include right to life, right to freedom of movement, right to human dignity. Under the right to human dignity, we are entitled to not be involved in wars, or in fact, it's not a war, but it's more like a torture, kidnapping, depriving people of their homes, which is also a right that we're entitled to, and generally people living in fear. I've been listening to pastors telling their congregants, you don't have to travel, or it's not by force to travel. And I think that is an indictment on the government of this great nation. When people begin to live in fear, you honestly cannot say what can happen. Right now, there have been no reprisals. But if people continue to live in fear, there's no gainsaying when that will come. We live in a country where our security personnel, with due respect to the Commodore, are more interested in face-to-face work. They're more learned in face-to-face war. We hardly have any counterintelligence. The enemy that we're facing are not people that come out in the day. They're not people that come out and can be recognized. There are no boundaries. And in order to be able to defeat them, what is required is to be able to get behind their brains and understand how they think. That is how it is done. It is not by making promises or making compromises with them. And so, while the citizens' human rights are being trampled, whether you're in the places where people are being displaced, deprived of their homes, deprived of their livelihoods, even us that live in Lagos, even the people that live where you don't have the direct action, are also affected. Because now we're afraid to go home for Christmas. Now we're afraid to enter night bus. Our freedom of movement has been impacted. Everything that relates to being a citizen and the rights that you have under your citizenship of this country is being attacked. You go to bed at night, you're locking your door with like 3-4 padlocks, you're putting a bar behind. You want to go out, oh, because you're a judge, you shouldn't go out without police. And I think that this topic at this time is very fortuitous. And I believe that while we all empathize with those who have been caught in this underground war, we also should begin to demand that which we need our government to do. We have rights. Those rights ought to be protected. I am not here to give a speech. I'm just saying this from what I feel. My son had to travel to the north, I think about 2-3 weeks ago. And people were saying to me, how can you allow him to go? And my answer was, how can I not? This is his country. He doesn't need a visa to enter into any other place. And I thank God he went and he came back well. He's been to the eastern part too. He went and he came back well. So these are enemies that are hidden behind the lines. They won't come out in the day. They come out and they attack the most vulnerable of us. Mostly young girls who are unable to defend themselves. And we owe them a duty as citizens and as legal professionals to protect that right. I know you can do human interests and human rights advocacy and cases. I think it's time for us to put that forward. I came from the background of somebody that's very involved with the NBA. My father was Chief B.O. Benson, SAN. He was the General Secretary of the National as well as a president of the Nigerian Bar Association, president of the African Bar Association. He visited Uganda at a time when Idi Amin was there. Who would dare? And I think it is time for us to dare. Where the NBA Ikeja is the tiger branch. The tiger is not afraid of anything. Let us dare. Let us come out. Let us stand. And stand for those people that are voiceless. Stand for those people that are helpless. Thank you very much.
I'm happy Showore is here. We know what happened in 2023. I know this is not a political forum, so I'm not going to really delve too much into politics, but we knew what happened. But why am I trying to say this? It's because in politics, it is garbage in, garbage out. If you have good representatives, there's that tendency that security will be a thing of the past. So I want to leave that to you. I'm not a politician. I will never be a politician. And my friend that wants to do, I'm going to support him. So, but this is very important, that political participation, and it's because of Showore I put this red line. Political participation must never be treated as a crime. Because one of the president and the police, my friend sitting here, they will be chasing Showore up and down as if they are like Tom and Jerry. But I'm enjoying it anyway. It's like, it's like drama in the country, So, Showore, maybe later you come and sit very close. Next slide, please. Yeah, I've been joking. This is where I'm going to become serious. You know, the issue of religion. Freedom of thoughts, conscience, and religion. Section 38 of the Constitution protects freedom of thoughts, conscience, and religion. Yet, Nigeria continues to experience widespread religiously motivated attack. More than 50,000 Christian deaths between 2009 and 2023. Over 18,000 churches attacked or destroyed. International Watch List consistently ranked Nigeria among the worst countries for religious killings. So this is not merely a security issue, it is a constitutional emergency. And I'm happy that we are all here together. This is a constitutional emergency, and the lawyers, the bar, the bench should actually rise up. When houses of worship becomes a battleground, where you will see all these, I mean, when I see them, I mean, I just feel I should have a magic wand to just catch them, then just, do something to them. Because they will just enter church, people are praying in the church, then you enter church and start shooting them. In this country, and the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, is comfortable. Is comfortable? I don't understand. So, we have to address the issue of religion. Next slide, please. Now, this is the key point, the center of gravity of this lecture. Look at the board. The grand norm, the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 10 is actually mentioned issue of secularity. So I want to ask my audience, is Nigeria a secular state? On paper. In reality. Somebody say yes. Yeah, maybe we don't understand the grand norm. When you have a constitution and the constitution states that you are a secular state. And in that same constitution, the secularity question, he said the governor of the federation or a state shall not adopt any state religion. That's what the constitution said. I didn't say it. And you can check. This is what he says. The governor of the federation, that's Tinubu, or governor of a state, like Zamfara State, shall not adopt any state religion. That's what the constitution said. And this Fulani will keep on flouting the constitution, destroying the country, and we will be afraid to talk to them. How many times will you die? How many times? Why are you afraid to talk to them? They are flouting the Bible. The Constitution is our Bible, it's our Quran. He said the governor of the federation or a state shall not adopt any state religion. Then, unknown to some of you, I'm sure Showore will know, between Abacha time and Abdulsalami time, they tinker with the constitution. They did what? They tinker with it. They introduced Sharia in the constitution 73 times. Islam is mentioned in that same constitution 28 times. Grand Qadi of Islam, 54 times. Muslim, about 10 times. Some of you can do further research. I think it's about 10 times when I check, because I have to count one by one. Christ, church, Christianity, 0 times. So I tried to develop a league, like this football league, like European league. So I said in our Constitution of the Federal Republic League, Islam, 165. Christian, 0. Please clap for them. Yeah, clap for them. They won. Islam 165 in your constitution. And we are all here, we are lawyers. I'm disturbed. 165 times. Christian or any other religion. Isheshe, traditional religion. 0. They also have the audacity to come to the House of Assembly. They have the audacity to come and say that they want to remove the only thing that is helping some of us. The only thing that is in this constitution that is making us not to be Islamized completely. That the Sharia issue is a personal thing. It's written in the constitution. They now said, now we want to remove that personal. And that is why this lawyer, who is a Yoruba boy, who has a family in Lagos, who has office in Lagos, is suing me for 5 billion for trying to rescue his people, his family, his unborn children. He, a Yoruba man, is suing me, collecting money from terrorists and suing me. Because I'm trying to rescue his unborn children. What do I gain? What do I lose? Why should you collect money from terrorists and sue your brother? That is betrayal. And the punishment for betrayal in some areas, especially in Russia, is death.
Right away is there overseeing stakeholders on security, on the news of bandits creeping into the neighborhood of the state already. We don't want to be taken by surprises in Lagos. That's the reason why the AIG is not here. Well, I don't think you have any problem. I'm not going to defend police action, but rather I'll be talking from life experience. Before now, I may not be competent to address most of the issues raised here. But thank God, last year I was deployed to the northeast, and I found myself as a DC operation in Adamawa. And I spent a year and a month. I just came back to Lagos in April. And I saw a whole lot of things. So most of the speakers, well, we have rights to self-expression. But when you speak out of context because you don't know what goes on there, you might be wrong in your assertions and judgments. But then, I will throw a lot of that, and it's not enough time for us to harmonize it. One, insecurity is a national problem. And the government is already overwhelmed. Just like the last speaker said, if you trust the government with your life, you're going to die. That's number one. 2, the police, one house please, the police, whether you like it or not, we are agents of the state. He will pay the piper. So, you may not get more than what you are seeing. But then wisdom, community policing. You see, I got to Northeast March 12 last year, and I discovered that I had a peculiar problem that would describe as area boy in Lagos. In Adamawa, they know them as Sheila boys. They waylay, they maim, they rob, they do all lot of things, even rape. They go into the middle of the market, snatch your iPhone, and nobody there challenge them. And they're mostly the Fulanis. So, second week of my coming in at the management meeting, the CP have been there for over 5 years. This year I met a lawyer, the assistant DCCID too, a lawyer. And I look at the way they were evaluating the crime. And I just threw that. I said, excuse me, from the way you are talking, you are encouraging this crime for God's sake. Where I'm coming from, Lagos, this is nothing more than conspiracy to wit armed robbery. Whether they go with a mob or a club or an intimidating toy, I said they go for armed robbery. So why have you been charging them to come for stealing? If not that, we are encouraging them. After arraignment, the next 2 hours, they are back. And they started asking questions. This is CID, is that right? Yeah, the DC officer say the fact. This is CID. And we changed the approach. That same weekend, I led operation into Sambisa Forest with Lagos approach. And we were able to arrest 54 of them. And we changed the nomenclature. And they were reminded first on a holding charge, later on, no, before I left Adamawa, we've arrested over 254 of these bandits. And you can now go freely with your phone, nobody harasses you again. And the news was, oh, one OPC Yoruba man is in town.